Am I the a-hole for only taking my younger brother out instead of our other half-siblings? My brother 16 male and I 24 male are pretty close. When we were young, my dad left us and our mom. Turns out, for years he had a secret family with another woman that he decided he wanted to be with. For years, we stopped having contact, and I hated my dad for how he broke our mom. When I was 20, my mom passed away, and my dad came back to our lives. My brother was 12, and he was to go with my mom's sister, but Dad stopped that because he wanted him with them. I wished he could come with me then, but didn't have money to take care of him since I was still in school. They got 4 other kids, and my brother hates it there. One half-brother who's a year older, then one same age as my brother, 2 who are 14 twins, and youngest I think is like 12. They all give him crap and I've seen it too. Make jokes about how our dad chose them over us. Say crap about our mom. His wife doesn't like my brother, so she doesn't do anything but encourage it. My dad's a freaking coward, so he doesn't do anything either. I try to spend every weekend or free time I got with my brother, and we always go out to fun places. I'm out of school and working, so it's easier to see him every day or have him sleep over. My dad lets me see him whenever I want, and knows he can't say no to me because we have a deal. The thing is, his wife and my half-siblings get mad now that I take him to all these cool places, like Six Flags, Universal Studios, the Grand Canyon, skiing, football games, snorkeling, camping, horse riding, etc. But they're always stuck at home. My dad keeps asking me if I could start including them in our outings, and I told him no. Not with how he lets them treat him, and my brother can't stand them. Him and his wife keep saying I'm alienating my other family, and maybe if I started including them, we'd learn to get along. Still, I've said no, and told my dad to drop it or I'll go back on our deal. He stopped pushing it, but his wife still keeps saying stuff whenever I come to pick up my brother. They're mostly mad now because in a few weeks, I'm flying my brother to Florida for his birthday, so I can check out the amusement parks. Some of my friends do think I'm being the a-hole because they're my siblings and I'm the oldest, so should be trying to get along. Just don't want to do anything to them for always being horrible to my brother. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Okay, you all gave some really good information and tried to get custody now in comments, so thank you so much. I'm gonna look into it and see what options we might have. Now for the comments. Not the a-hole, but info. What's this deal you have with your father? Also, if you went for custody for your brother, the courts would probably grant it, especially if the judge asks your brother where he wants to live. I don't tell his wife about him, that will mess up their marriage. It's the only leverage I have, or he wouldn't let me see my brother. I don't know if the court would allow that even if my brother said he wants to live with me since it's my dad. As soon as your brother is out of that house and away from those awful people, tell your dad's wife all about your dad. Make sure his other children are in the room too. Then when you're done, just look at your dad and say, "Oops," and walk out. But I'm petty like that. Definitely not the a-hole. If your dad and stepmom are so concerned about the rest of the children not having fun, they can take them on their own. I mean, it's not like they were concerned about you and your brother having fun when they broke up your family and you both ended up struggling for years. If the half-siblings want to complain, tell them to ask your dad to take them places since he picked them over you. I mean, if he loved them so much, he'd obviously get a second job to take them on vacations. If your stepmom complains about them needing to strengthen family bonds, explain that you and your brother are a family, and your bonds are extremely tight. If she wants to strengthen her own bonds, you can give her some recommendations on places to take her kids. I'd even show her some amazing pictures of you and your brothers on some amazing vacations, and tell her how much fun you had at those places. Bonus points if your half-siblings are in the room while you tell them about all the great times you had with your family, and how close it has made you and your brother. Tell your dad to grow the hell up. They're not siblings. They refused to acknowledge that and treated your brother like garbage. Your stepmom encouraged that behavior and they deserve everything that's coming. That's your dad's fault for cheating on your mother and creating a secret life, and now karma will slowly creep in. You can get along by talking to them and going over, but you don't have to take them out to trips at amusement parks. They've burnt that bridge, and it's up to them to rebuild it if they want you on their side. It's awesome to see that you're taking care of your brother. Just a question, do you plan to take him in when you're able to? Seems like he'd be way better off with you than with your dad. Your dad took him in but doesn't treat him like a son. I don't talk to them at all when I go there. My brother comes out the house and will leave. Just started working a better job over a year ago and making more, so that's why it's easier now to do more stuff with him. He wants to leave and plan is he'll come with me when it's possible. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my father-in-law what his wife has been saying about him on the internet? My wife's mom and stepdad separated about 18 months ago. From my understanding, the cause was that stepdad wanted to let his 2 adult children move into their home after both of his kids lost their jobs due to COVID and needed a place to stay. But mother-in-law was totally against it. At first, stepdad obeyed his wife's wishes, but he eventually heard his son was sleeping in his car after losing his apartment and told both his kids they could come. Mother-in-law was furious and would call my wife almost daily to complain about it. Mother-in-law and stepdad got into a big fight about it, and when stepdad told her that he wasn't going to kick his kids out and have them be homeless, mother-in-law left. Mother-in-law has been basically couch surfing ever since. She stayed with us for a few 2 to 3 week stints. It has bounced around her other siblings the rest of the time. Stepdad's daughter moved out last year, but his son still stays with him and trying to save money to move out. Mother-in-law refuses to go back until stepdad's son is gone. At this point, stepdad and mother-in-law are no longer talking. I'm actually pretty close with stepdad, as he helped me with numerous home projects after my wife and I bought our first home. He feels like he's stuck between a rock and a hard place because he loves mother-in-law and wants her to come back, but he also doesn't want his son sleeping in his car again. Mother-in-law has told my wife and I that she refuses counseling because she doesn't think she's done anything wrong, and she won't file for divorce because she doesn't have a job and needs stepdad's income and health insurance. She also feels that stepdad won't file for divorce either because she knows he would feel guilty about cutting her off from insurance. Over the last year, mother-in-law has been posting a lot of stuff on Facebook about stepdad. A lot of bad-mouthing him, calling him names, saying mean things about his kids, and that the only thing stepdad is good for is money and health insurance. Stepdad doesn't have Facebook, so he doesn't know what mother-in-law has been saying about him. A few months ago, I was helping stepdad move an appliance, and he told me how much he missed mother-in-law and wanted her to come back. I felt bad hearing how much she was hurting, and told him I needed to see something. I showed him mother-in-law's Facebook feed and all the bad things she's been saying. He broke down crying, but eventually pulled himself together enough to let me help him screenshot posts and save them. A couple of weeks ago, mother-in-law called my wife in hysterics because stepdad had actually filed for divorce. After they got done talking, my wife talked to me about it, and I came clean that I showed stepdad what mother-in-law has been saying about him online. My wife was irate about it and told me that it was none of my business to do that, and that I shouldn't have meddled in their relationship. I told her stepdad deserved to know what mother-in-law was saying about him, but my wife told me I'm a huge a-hole because if her mom finds out it was me who told stepdad, then mother-in-law will never forgive me and it will cause a huge rift in her relationship with her mom. Wow, not an a-hole. You did the right thing. I would be worried that your wife might take after her mother a bit, though. Yeesh. Why does your mother-in-law hate his kids so much? My wife's relationship with her mother is complicated. My wife moved out when she was 17. I didn't talk much her entire time in college. It wasn't until she finished college, became a young adult, that she tried to rekindle the relationship with her mother. They still aren't incredibly close. Mother-in-law thinks her stepkids are losers and leeches. She repeatedly calls them middle-aged toddlers in her posts. But she also doesn't work. So does that make her an elderly baby? I know, right? It's okay for her to need stepdad for money and insurance, but not his kids? What? Wait, so this woman moves out of her own home and couch surfs because her stepchildren live there temporarily due to a situation outside of their control. She made herself homeless? Wow, what a hypocrite. Also, ma'am, you put your thoughts on an online platform for people to see and comment. You didn't tell her husband about a personal conversation. You pointed him to what she's telling the world. Not a hole. Not a hole. Mother-in-law sounds like an absolute pill. Poor stepdad was just trying to be a good father. I agree with you. Stepdad deserves to know what's being said behind his back, especially by someone he thought cared about him. Can't imagine being in a relationship where my partner would do that to me. Your wife needs to learn to understand that mother-in-law's actions and words have consequences. You are simply a messenger, and she's trying to shoot you for things mother-in-law said. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to attend my brother's wedding after my sister-in-law left my 2-month-old on a park bench? Me and my sister-in-law have always been close. Her and my brother met when they were 15, I was 12, and now I'm 21. She was always really nice to me, and we bonded over the fact that my parents don't like either of us. A few weeks ago, I got called into work and my sister-in-law said that I shouldn't waste money on a babysitter when I could just let them take her for a bit. My husband was also at work. I guess at some point she decided to take her and her dog for a walk. She says they were walking through the park and the leash slipped out of her hand. Without thinking, she put my daughter on a nearby bench. She was in a little carrier, and she ran after the dog. She didn't even catch the dog, and it wasn't until 2 hours later that she even realized that daughter was missing. When I came to pick up my daughter, she broke down and told me everything. I was livid, but I was so thankful no one kidnapped her. My husband was so mad he stormed down to their house just to yell at her. She recently messaged me details about her wedding. I told her I would not be attending. She called me sobbing, saying that I'm a petty witch, and she wishes someone had kidnapped my daughter. I hung up on her and she apologized and said she needs me there. My friends and family have called me saying I'm petty, and that she was stressed, and it was an accident. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. This is nuts. She wishes someone had kidnapped your daughter? Never talk to this woman again. This. What she did was bad enough, but to follow up with this is crazy. OP, you are not the a-hole. You are not being petty. What you are doing is being a mother and ensuring the safety and well-being of your child. This woman is clearly not in her right mind if she forgot about your child for 2 hours, let alone her disgusting comment. 1. Left daughter on park bench. 2. Forgot daughter on park bench. 3. Says she wishes someone had kidnapped your daughter. Not only are you not the a-hole, but she's such a flaming psychotic a-hole that if I were you, I wouldn't just skip the wedding. I would actively try to stop my brother from marrying her. Info. She left her 2-month-old baby on a public park bench for 2 hours because she forgot her? Yes, I need you to clarify this. 2 hours? Yes, you read it correctly. 2 hours. I'm so livid. Like, how do you forget an entire infant? Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to buy my kids cheaper clothes because my sister-in-law asked me to? With a little update. My husband and I have 2 daughters, 14 and 16. We both have high-paying jobs. I am a plastic surgeon and he is a neurosurgeon, and we met in med school. So we are very stable financially and are able to have some vacations and buy stuff we like. My husband's brother and his wife, on the other hand, are not very well financially. They don't have debts and they have a nice home though. Sister-in-law and I don't have a very good relationship, but we are cordial enough with each other. My daughters are very into fashion, and I think they're very good at dressing up and making outfits. Since they both have very good grades and are well-behaved, dear husband and I like to take them shopping when we have the chance. Yesterday, we hosted dinner in our house to celebrate father-in-law's birthday, and many family members came, including sister-in-law. My daughters were dressed formally since that's what everyone agreed to. When sister-in-law and her kids arrived, she stared at my daughters with a frown. Later in the evening, before dinner was served, she pulled me aside and asked me why did I allow my girls to wear those clothes. I asked her what she meant, and she said that teenagers shouldn't wear expensive clothing if they didn't buy them with their own money. I told her that it was okay since although they don't have jobs, they work for it by getting good grades. She told me that it was not fair, and that her kids always ask her to buy them stuff from the same brands. I asked her what I could do then, since honestly I don't think it's my problem. And she said that I needed to stop buying them those clothes and everything would be fine. I tried to politely tell her that I wouldn't, but she called my mother-in-law and asked her for her opinion. Mother-in-law said that they had no business deciding what my daughters can wear, and offered to buy some clothes from that brand for her kids. She started calling me a selfish brat, and that I didn't know what hard work is. So I told her that my husband and I work our butts off every day to be able to afford this stuff, and that she was being entitled. She just cussed me out and went to the table to continue eating. This morning, I received a message from her husband saying that I behaved like a witch, and demanded me to apologize to his wife as well as complying with her wishes. I just said no and hung up. Now, they are threatening to go no contact with us unless I apologize, but my ego's too big to do so. So I decided to get an opinion from unbiased sources. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Like you said, you work hard for your money, and you can spend it like you wish. She can't honestly expect everyone in life to act like they're at her income level because she's insecure about it. Her kids will inevitably see kids with nicer things at school. That's just part of life. Her reaction was totally uncalled for. Do not apologize to her. Honestly, going no contact sounds like a good idea. Thanks for your opinion. We haven't decided what we will do, but for now, we will wait to see if they calm down. The only way you could possibly be the a-hole is if your girls are bragging about what they have, or being judgmental towards their cousins for having less than them. As long as this isn't the case, which it doesn't seem to be, you're in the clear and it isn't your job to manage your sister-in-law's feelings. Not an a-hole. Like your mother-in-law said, they have zero business deciding what your teenage daughters can and can't wear. Going no contact with them might be better since they sound a bit deranged. Out of curiosity, what did your husband say about their behavior? Thank you. I did tell him about the situation after everyone left, and he just told me to ignore her. But after I received the messages, he got mad at her because he also likes to buy this kind of gifts for our daughters, and he thinks his brother is being entitled. Wait, you don't know hard work? Med school, residency, fellowship, to practicing MD. That is the definition of hard work. And now you are and your family are enjoying the fruits of your and your husband's hard work. Not an a-hole. She is jealous. She can go sit and spin with that crap. I'm a prick, so I would do a photo shoot and put it all over social media with my kids in the forbidden clothes. Update. My husband and I talked with the girls, and they both said they didn't know how their cousins felt, and they offered to wear non-brand clothes in family gatherings so their cousins didn't feel uncomfortable. Dear husband and I thanked them, and told them that it wasn't their fault. Dear husband then contacted his brother, and apparently sister-in-law told him that our girls bullied her children, but we compared versions and realized it was a lie. Brother-in-law apologized twice and made sister-in-law apologize. She was hesitant at first, but did. I told her what my girls were going to do and she said that it was good, but she was hoping for more. To be honest, I feel like the problem is solved for now. Thanks for everyone's advice in the comments.